Good morning, welcome to Optimal Frequency. I'm Grant. I talk to spirits here at my house. I use white noise generated by the faucet upstairs, and then I filter those responses with an artificial intelligence, and I get amazing responses. So today's Friday. I've made 4 videos this week. I'm feeling kind of lazy, just want to coast through the day. And somebody had mentioned, actually 2 people mentioned this week on YouTube, we were talking about one of the videos I did. What if we took the first 40 videos that we shot with the HackShack X8 application on the phone, and we apply the new method of using the artificial intelligence to those videos, would it find anything that we couldn't hear before? So I've loaded up the very first video I ever did. I've taken the time to sit down, process that. I'm not quite done it yet, but guess what? I've already found something. The yellow line that you're looking at, or the yellow bar, is the original soundtrack, and then the blue is the filtered with the artificial intelligence. So you can see I've lined them up so that the wavelengths are in line pretty much. It's off a little bit, but it's okay. Actually, I'll just play that section for you. Watch, and you'll hear it. Okay, here we go. We should hear it this time.
Pretty sure you answered me earlier. When I asked you how you were doing, you said fine. Is this somebody that I knew, or Robin?
Okay, so what we just listened to was the filtered version. And it was so faint in there. I can't see anything. You can't see any wavelengths on there. But I also have open, let me just minimize this screen. I'm also working with my Audacity. So here's the same chunk of sound. Whoops. Same in between the 2 questions that I was talking. Let me play it for you again this time, and you'll see that the filter actually did pick something up.
I asked you how you were doing, you said fine. Is this somebody that I...
You hear that? So, it clearly said, help me. Was that from the original recording when I did that video 8-10 months ago, and we just couldn't tell because we weren't filtering it? Or did that help me just go on there right now as I ran it on the computer? I let that sucker run. I went, made a coffee, came back, stopped it, and then started analyzing it. It is possible that the spirits, while it was recording again and filtering it, put that word help me on there. I could run through the whole process, refilter it again, see if we get the exact same spot. I'm not going to. It's so much work. I mean, that just to filter it already took me like 25 minutes. And then to listen to it all, you got to go through it and listen to the whole darn thing again. I don't want to get into that because it'll take hours and hours just to go over what we've already filmed. This is a neat experiment, and I'll do it, and I'll try and get a few examples to see if we missed a few words, but I'm not going to go into it in such great depth that, I'm spending hours and hours of my time. Okay, so right after that, something very interesting. Check this out. In the original clip, I said, Grandma Marian, are you here with me? Something like that. And then the HackShack gave me a response. Now, this is, again, the very first episode I ever shot. So the response that I got is actually a response I've had in a couple of videos. But I didn't know that the HackShack at that time would spit out duplicate responses sometimes. Those canned responses that I call them, right? Okay, so as soon as I hear it this time, now that I've done so many hours in the HackShack, I go, that's a canned response. I've heard that response before.
Grandma Marian, are you there? Can you hear? Whoa.
Blah, 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 blah. I'd actually, in the video with my dad, I put it down. It sounds like it's saying, yeah, that's my friend Kenny. Okay, so that's what I thought it was saying when I analyzed it in my dad's video. Anyways, this time, this is the very first episode that I shot. I didn't know what it said, couldn't make it out, and I moved on. So now, when I play it back, I'm going to show you on this screen what it says. Okay, so again, this really does interest me and makes me almost want to go back and actually put the work in to scan some of this. I asked my grandma Marian, are you here with me? This is the filtered.
Grandma Marian, are you there? Can you hear? Whoa.
See, totally different response here.
Grandma Marian, are you there? Can you hear?
Okay, so here is another odd one. I said, in the original clip, I said something about, do you want to say something so Gary knows you're real? Because I'm trying to convince Gary some weird stuff's been going on here at this point. I said, do you want to say something to his channel? Blah, blah, blah. And then I can't remember why, but something was going on and it wasn't working right. And I said, I'm annoyed. So I'm going to play that for you. I said, I'm annoyed. And then the box goes along and then the box says, Gary. Okay, that's all that's in the original clip. Just that one response.
I'm annoyed. Could you tell?
Say I'm annoyed. Here's the response, Gary. Right there's the word Gary. And then this is all new added stuff after the filter. I'll play it for you and then we'll discuss it.
I'm annoyed. Could you tell?
Okay, so what I hear, and I've gone through and listened to this several times, this little part here says, stay with him. Or stay with, and then it says Gary's name again. Stay with Gary. And then it repeats. You hear like a yeah from a man and the woman saying Gary. And they're kind of overlapping each other, but it repeats twice. You hear the man say, yeah, yeah. But then it sounds like the woman is saying, Gary, like right underneath it. Once more. Weird. It wasn't there before. So, I mean, filtering did discover something else. Okay, so one more here. In the original recording, I said, can you say my wife's name? All the way through. You don't hear nothing. You'll see me moving my chair. I'll stop the video there, and then I'll show you the new response. Because, I mean, it's, again, people are going to say it could be clickety-clickety, but I asked for my wife's name. It does kind of sound like my wife's name, so I'm just showing you. This is what got filtered.
Say my wife's name.
Okay, see, no response from the HackShack. It's just ticking away. Okay, and so here's the filtered version.
Can you say my wife's name?
Sounds like a robin. Something that's there that wasn't there. That's all I'm saying. I'll play it louder for you. Okay, so I finished that video. There's 3 main responses that I've just shown you that it did pick up on. It also picked up on maybe 3 or 4 smaller ones where I'd ask a question and very faintly you could hear an answer. I didn't want to elaborate on it, spend a lot of time blowing it up, blowing it out of proportion when you raise the volume too high and that. But I could hear with my ear some other responses that were not recorded by the HackShack. So it's an interesting experiment. It did find some results. And I mean, if you were to take the time and scan the 40 videos, you'd probably find a lot more responses. Is it worth my time? Probably not. I mean, we get a lot more valid answers if we just go up to the sink and ask direct questions, but still an excellent experiment. So thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for the suggestion on doing that, and I'll have more videos to come.